Okay, you're gonna have. Hello, hello, Diana's here.
Hi, Diana.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good. I'm going to be admitting a lot of ladies in here, so I'll just ask you to mute yourself, Kathy. Okay, thanks. It could get a little loud. All right. Hopefully you can all hear me. It's Diana here, right? Good, good, good. So I'm going to give this a few minutes to let everybody in. It's a little bit, it's like 6:30, 6:31. So we'll give it a little bit more time here. So, all right. This is going to be fun. It's also being recorded, so no worries. If you don't catch anything or if you have questions, you can always ask too. So just give it a few more minutes here. Hope everybody had a great day. A little cold here in Wisconsin, but it is winter, so we should be expecting that. But we've been spoiled, so it's always a little bit frigid when they first start coming in. So, and then I will be sharing my screen. And as people trickle in, I may just pause to let them in as well. So let's see, it's about 6:32. So I am going to start sharing my screen. All right, here we go. I obviously, look there, we got, okay, so let's start the slideshow here. I'm glad everybody's here. This is exciting. All right. So I'm still admitting people in, guys. Okay, admit, there we go. Okay, so just make sure you guys are all on mute. All right, so I'm going to get started. So I just want to welcome everybody. This is your Eat More, Work Less little webinar here. And want to welcome everybody. Some of you live in Wisconsin or are in the central area. Some of you will be coming from the east and the west coast. So we are freezing here in Wisconsin, but we all have warm hearts, right? So I'm going to keep going here. I want to tell you a little bit about me. So I am 55 years young. I don't want to say old because you're only as old as how you feel, right? And little pause here. I have 3 children. I have 2 stepsons. I am a grandmother of 6, and we found out a little while ago that I do have one more coming in August this year, so that's exciting. I've been a nurse for well over 30 years. I didn't even put the total, I just put 30 plus. I'm also a certified personal trainer and a nutrition certification, which I've had for a number of years. I own my own business, and that's what you're a part of here right now, called Beautiful After 50. I also own a brick and mortar business called Trimax Health and Fitness, which is also at Waukesha Fit Body Bootcamp is a part of Trimax Health and Fitness. And I do have a picture here of my crazy family. This was this year at Christmas. So most of us are here. I think I'm missing just one grandchild in this picture, but otherwise everybody's here. So that's my crazy family. This is why I do what I do. I do this because of them, because of my kids, because of my grandkids, because I have parents. And that's why I do what I do. So going here, sometimes the PowerPoint gets stuck. But what I really want to talk about is I hear a lot from women about why can't I lose weight? I'm doing all kinds of work. I'm working out like crazy. I'm doing all this cardio and all this kind of stuff. And I'm not losing weight and I'm not feeling very good about myself and I'm working really, really hard. So let me know, have you ever heard this before? How many times have you heard if you want to lose weight, you need to eat less and exercise more, right? Hear this all the time. You hear this at your doctor's office. You hear this from friends. You hear this from family. And it's not really true. So there we go. I can tell you that it doesn't work. It doesn't work, that old adage, and I'll tell you why, right? So also, are you one of those women who spend hours slogging through the cardio, obsessing over those few calories that you're going to be putting into your body because you want to lose weight, you want to be thin, you want to be happy with your results? So if you're one of those people that spend a lot of time on the treadmill, or you're on the elliptical, or you're trying to run but then your knees hurt, are you one of those women? So just kind of think about that. Just admitting more people in. This is awesome that you guys are here. So this may have worked for you when you were younger, or perhaps maybe the first time that you tried to lose weight. So our bodies didn't know any better. And so the first time we start something, you're going to see those results and you see those changes. Or maybe when you were super young and you could eat anything you wanted to and it didn't matter, right? And then you could work it off like the next day or even that day. It didn't even faze you. And what happens is time after time, your body adapts, right? And it doesn't respond to those severe calorie deficits. And so we feel as women, not so much men, but we feel as women that we need to eat like a bird because that's what's going to help me lose weight, right? If I drop all those calories and eat like a bird and do all this cardio and all this other stuff, I feel happy. I'm going to be thin. I'm going to, it's just going to be the best thing ever. And what happens is, you're doing all of this work, all of this cardio, and you're beating yourself up and you become really, really super tired and exhausted. And you're like you're overtraining and you're not any closer to your goal. So you're doing all this elliptical work and treadmill and you're on for hours and it's day after day and you're just exhausted, like you can't even go anymore, but yet you're frustrated because you're not getting to where you want to be. And that is very frustrating. And I talk to a lot of women. Interesting enough, so I did say that it's false that you need to eat less and work more. There is a little bit of a little kernel of truth, if you will, but you do need to create somewhat of a calorie deficit in order to lose weight. But what does that mean? What does that look like? So what happens is we do end up restricting our intake as much as we possibly can, right? And then you try and burn as many calories as you can through exercise. So you're restricting, but what happens is your body has a metabolism, and what you're thinking is happening is, oh, my metabolism is slowing down. What am I going to do? I'm going to do more cardio because I got to rev up my metabolism, and I'm going to do cardio on an empty stomach, and I'm going to do all this kind of stuff. But our metabolism is super smart and it wants us to survive. It wants us to hold on to something. And what does it want us to hold on to? So, and I'll get to that answer to that question. So let's think about it. Let's kind of go back. So generations ago, so think about your history back in high school. Think about generations ago when body wanted to hold on to fat stores in case of famine, right? In case of sickness and what if something happens and we can't eat? And so this is how when you slash your calories and over exercise, especially by doing lots of cardio, what happens is the compensatory mechanism of your body will protect those fat stores. So what happens is it holds on to that fat. So you can restrict all you want, but and then over exercise. But what it's doing is your body is saying, oh my gosh, you're starving me, right? And so your body is sending the signal to your brain, like it says here, like, oh, Tina's not getting enough food. You know, I'm gonna have to make her really hungry to get her seek out food, to go out and food and keep her from losing that fat, because that fat's gonna keep you alive. So if you think about that, generations of having that famine and those fat stores stay on, that's really what is happening. That's really what's happening to our bodies and stuff when we do all of that. So I'm just gonna check my notes just to make sure. All right, good. So does that make sense? Does that make sense kind of when you think about that old adage? So that's why after a long day or week of eating like a bird, so you're doing this, you're saying like, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds. So I'm going to restrict my calories. I'm just going to eat once or twice a day. And you're going to do this for a while, and you can do this for a couple days. But then what happens is you get so hungry that you lose your willpower, because the kids leave something, your husband brings something home from work, you go to work and there's donuts on the table, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. And then you start eating anything that's not like nailed down. I bet this has happened to some of you, because I know it's happened to me too. And so this is what happens also to your body when you start doing a lot of cardio, because it's gonna trigger that insatiable hunger and cravings, because it wants to make up for all those calories that you are burning, because you're exercising like crazy, but you're only eating 1 or 2 times a day, right? Does that resonate? Like the squirrel, right? Like you're just shoving stuff in your mouth. I remember that a lot, because this has happened to me in the past. So really what I want to tell you guys is these aren't signs of some, like you're weak and you have no willpower. This is what's built into your body. It's like a system that's working to keep you alive, right? So it's holding on to things because it's feeling like you're starving it, right? Like you are. And so it's holding on to the fat. And what will happen then too is, instead of your metabolism revving up like we think it's going to when we're doing all this cardio, is it actually slows down, because it wants to conserve the fat and wants to conserve your energy, right? So this isn't necessarily your fault. It's a mechanism that's built into your body. It's in your brain. So like I just said, it's not like there's something wrong with you. So don't think that there's something wrong with you, or, oh my gosh, my thyroid's messed up, or boy, my metabolism this and my metabolism that. Yes, as we get older, our metabolism does have some effects and does slow down. And then we just need to do things a little bit different. This is actually a sign of a healthy metabolism, because your body is working the way it's supposed to hang on to all of that. So we're just going about it the wrong way. There's better ways to lose weight. There's better ways to become lean, to tone, to feel better about ourselves, to have that energy, to feel strong. And so we just need to know what's the right way to do that. So don't like go and throw your hands up in the air and just say, well, okay, well, I'm just doomed to be overweight. I'm doomed to be fat. I'm just going to be unhappy. It is what it is. And that's just the way it is, because that's one thing I don't want you to do. But I understand the frustration that can happen. So here you're eating less, you're working like a dog, you're trying to lose the weight and you can't. And so you're frustrated. And I'm just trying to tell you that it's your body doing what it's supposed to do, is hanging on to those fat stores, because you're not eating and you're overworking. And it mainly is the overdoing of the cardio. So the running, not that you can't run, and we'll talk about that, and being on the elliptical and going crazy on the Stairmaster and all that. So there's a way to lose body fat. There's a way to be healthier. You want to lose the weight and the body fat and tone and all that in a healthy way. There's ways to feel better, and there's a better way to lose than at the gym, right? Are you one of those people that goes to the gym and you're on the elliptical, or you're on all of that, and you're not going to the other side of the gym where the weights are? So there is a way to lose that. So here are a few things that you can successfully do to lose weight. And the title of this is Eat More Food, right? Work Less. So it's very, very true. So this is one of those things. There's 4 things here that you can successfully do to lose weight. So yes, while it is important to create that calorie deficit to lose weight, it only needs to be a modest one. So we'll talk a little bit about that here. If you restrict too much, that compensatory mechanism is going to switch on. Your brain is going to tell your body, oh my gosh, she's starving herself again. Let's hold on to all that fat. Let's just keep it there because I don't know when she's going to eat again. So we better hang on to that. So instead, you want to reduce your calorie intake only by 10 to 15% per day below what your body's calorie needs for maintenance. So that's one thing that we look at is how many calories does your body need to maintain itself? And then we know what that is. So we reduce those calories by that 10 to 15%. That's where you're going to get the weight loss and all of that in. So this is not about eating 1 to 2 meals a day and trying to do it, because you can do it for a couple days. But what's going to happen is, like I said before, you're just going to go jump in and eat anything that's not nailed down. So eat more food. So you're going to lose weight a little slower, but you'll lose less muscle in the process, and you're going to keep it off in the long run. So it's slower. It's not going to happen overnight. It didn't take one day to put the weight on or the fat on, right? It's going to take more than 1 week, maybe 2 weeks to lose what you want to lose. So you need to focus on protein and fiber from veggies and some low sugar fruits to first keep you full, and then that will help you become less hungry. It will satiate you more, right? So those fiber from the vegetables and those proteins. You also want to round out your diet with enough fat, like I said, to keep you full, and enough carbs for energy. And you also want to include enough of your favorite foods. You don't want to limit the favorite things that you like. And for me, it's peanut butter. I like dark chocolate, and I really, really like tortilla chips. So that makes your food much more enjoyable and satisfying. So it's not just eating turkey and broccoli every day. You can have some of those foods that you enjoy. Not maybe every single day and in abundance, but you need to round out your diet, because what will happen is if you give up those foods that you enjoy, when you feel like you have them, you're going to dive in with an abundance mentality, right? And you're going to go after it. So it's just taking things a little bit slower, but will last longer. So when we talk about carbs, eat more carbs is the second thing. Some of you are going to go, oh my gosh, what do you mean I need to eat more carbs? I'm trying to decrease my carbs because I know they're bad for you. So eating too many carbs, like your whites, your refined carbs from white flours, processed foods, sugar, can really wreak havoc on your liver. You've ever heard of fatty liver disease? That's really prominent these days, because what's happening is people are becoming more insulin resistant, becoming type 2 diabetics. And then what happens is your liver becomes fatty. It's like a cirrhosis, but it's not from alcohol. It's because you're eating all the sugars and all the processed foods and things like that. And it also will increase your cholesterol numbers. So yes, eating those types of carbs is not good for you, except on that day where you maybe want that piece of cake or something, that kind of a thing. So going too low carb can also make you, and some of you maybe experienced it, you're going to feel really tired, you're going to feel lethargic, you're going to get cranky and crabby, and nobody's going to want to be around you. And that can also inhibit that fat loss, because it's going to increase that insulin resistance in your body. And we can save that for another little webinar, because there's a whole nother interesting facts about that, about insulin resistance and how prominent it is right now in our society. And it's even affecting our children. So you want a diet with enough complex grains, starchy vegetables like potatoes, sweet potatoes, beans, sweet fruits, because that's going to keep those energy levels up and satisfy you. I recommend a lot of those, like the fruits and things before workouts and after workouts, because that's going to fill your body, right? And you're going to burn that off because you just, just stress your body with a workout, and you need those calories too. So yes, regular potatoes are fine. I'm not saying eating 2 regular potatoes, right? But you can have those potatoes. You need those complex carbohydrates. So number 3, to get results, do less cardio and focus on weight training. So I'm not saying give up cardio, because we do need to do that, but doing tons and tons of cardio. So let's say 60 minutes a day, 30 minutes every single day. It's going to make your body, it's going to send, it's those signals again, that's going to send, your body's going to send signals to your brain. That's going to make you hungrier, and you're going to crave those carbs. You're going to want to dig into the chips and the breads and all the stuff that you're not supposed to, or the donuts that they were brought into work, or whatever it might be, or the chip bag. You're going to dive into sweets, and then what's going to happen is you're going to burn fewer calories, and you're going to keep that fat on your body. So instead, it's super important, and now this is especially ladies, as we get older, you want to incorporate some weight training. Muscles are more metabolically active. And that's what that means, is they're going to burn more calories than fat, even when you're at rest. Interesting, huh? So lifting weights doesn't result in the same compensatory mechanisms that make you hungrier and seek out food like cardio does, because it's more metabolically active. So we'll talk a little bit more here, a little bit more about weight training. Another thing that will help you get results, and this is a little bit off of the topic about eat more, do less. It's also about taking care of your mind, and maybe that's meditation. But we live in a day and age where we are constantly running around, right? We're running the grandkids or kids places. We're running errands. We're stressed by our jobs. We're not getting enough sleep. The world has been very different since almost a year ago, right? And so stress increases our body's production of cortisol, which is a stress hormone. And we do need cortisol because it's healthy, and it's also healthy to have a little stress in our bodies. But when it gets to be overstressed, it's not healthy. And to have a lot of cortisol all the time can lead to weight gain, because it inhibits weight loss, and it makes you feel tired and drained and irritable. So it's super important to do mindful, relaxing activities. It could be at the end of the day, it could be at the beginning of the day, but cortisol is a hormone that we need, but it's also right now, it's so high in our bodies because of the stress that we're experiencing. So I recommend getting enough sleep and aiming for about 7 hours every night. And I know some of you are probably saying, oh my gosh, I never get 7 hours. So start small. If you're getting 4, try and shoot for 5. Sleep a little bit, go to bed earlier, set your alarm, but maybe go to bed a little bit earlier, do some reading and things like that, and calm down, kind of put your mind at rest, and try and aim for that 7 hours. Even 6 is good to start with. Maybe getting into yoga, doing some deep breathing, mindfulness meditation. There's a lot of apps that you can get that can help you with meditation. You can even watch YouTube videos if you're like, oh, what do I do for meditation? Basically what you're doing is you're focusing on your breathing, the breathing in and the breathing out, and just relaxing your body. Starting with 5 minutes a day. And you can do that in the morning and at night. It really does helpful. And another thing, being outside. I know it's cold here in Wisconsin, but it might not be where you're at. But if you're in a cold environment, bundle up and just go for a short walk. Take the dog for a walk. Being outside is super refreshing. Aiming for those 5,000 to 10,000 steps a day. It's perfect. I even say 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. That's not cardio, that's walking. It's relaxing, it's leisurely, typically outside. Reduce the amount of cardio. And when I say that, it's the hours that women and some men spend on those machines and not stressing the muscles and working the muscles in strength training. Laughing, just having fun, that sense of humor, playing games with the family, spending time with your friends, hanging out with your animals. They're the best. During COVID, pets went like crazy. You couldn't even find one. And because they help with the stress level, right? Having less caffeine in your afternoons, because what will happen is it promotes cortisol release, right? So, but keep your caffeine to the morning. Unless you're that shift worker, your schedule's a little bit different, and that's something that can be discussed too. So I do have one more very important piece of advice. This process that I just spoke about, you need to give it time. So sustainable fat loss is a slow process, but this is a good thing, right? Because you are losing weight a little more slowly, but in the process, you're developing habits that you're going to be able to keep up with, right? Like those lifestyle changing habits. You're going to maintain your muscle mass because you're not doing all that cardio. And then you won't be triggering that compensatory mechanism in your body where the brain is telling the body, oh my gosh, hang on to that fat because she's working like crazy and she's starving herself. So just keep all that in mind. It is a slower process, but again, you're going to develop those habits and they're going to stay with you long term. And can you imagine not ever having to be on that diet again, right? So you're going to be eating more proteins, more carbs, and fats like avocados and nuts, and those kinds of things. Oils, coconut oil, olive oil, those are your healthy fats. So you want a balance of all of that. And I hate the word diet. It's really about talking about nutrition. And when you eat, think about that you're fueling and feeding your body. And yes, you like to eat because it tastes good, but think about that, think about it's also fueling your body. It's helping you recover from workouts and things like that too. So one thing I did want to talk about really briefly, and I know, yeah, we're doing okay for time, is the weight training is super important in the cardio. So one thing that I wanted to just say here at the end is weight training 3 times a week, 4 times a week, using weights, dumbbells, barbells, bands, kettlebells, even body weight, because you're stressing those muscles, right? Squats and lunges and different things like that. Really, really important, especially as we get older and that menopause hits, because our metabolism does slow down a little bit, but that weight training is going to help because it's going to build that nice lean muscle. That lean muscle will burn off the fat. Again, it's a slower process. Watching your calorie intake, not going crazy, but decreasing it 10 to 15% based on what you need for calories at rest. Also with your cardio, because cardio is important. It's good for your heart. It's good for your lungs, your blood pressure, all of that. And it's super important to still do that, the walking. What I tend to do and what I recommend for other women is to do your cardio after a strength training workout or doing it on an off day where you're not doing a strength workout. So let's say you're doing strength training on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Do your cardio on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but limit it to 30 minutes. 30 minutes of a 1 to 2 mile run, or you're on the elliptical for that 30 minutes, 20 minutes, but you're working at a really good pace. Limit that, because what happens when you do all that cardio, again, I'm just going to reiterate what I just said, is it's muscle wasting. If you're not doing strength training and you're just doing cardio, it's going to decrease your muscles. Yes, you're going to lose weight, but you're losing muscle mass, and that's the weight that you're losing, but it maintains the fat. So when you talk about fat in the belly, fat on the sides, or what some women, talk about the back fat or the underarms, it's because your body's hanging on to that. And typically what happens too, if the women that are doing all the cardio aren't eating very well and they're not eating enough, they're eating only maybe 1,200 calories a day when you should be maybe eating 1,500. It just all depends. Everybody needs a little bit more. Everybody's different. Every one of you is different in what you need. So I hope you found this super helpful. This is being recorded right now. I will post this on Mind Body Beautiful. I want you to, once I post this, I want you to feel free to ask questions underneath that video. As soon as it loads onto my computer, I will put it in the group. Sometimes that does take a while. So it'll be in there tonight yet though. And ask questions on there. I want you to ask me things that you maybe heard of tonight or you're not sure of, or you have questions about or want some clarification. That's how you're going to learn. And I also want to say, if I will put my scheduling link below too, if you want to hear a little bit more or learn about what your body needs and how you can get results and, feel, whatever, anything you want to, talk about, I'll put my scheduling link in the comments below too. That way you and I can, sit on the phone and talk, about what you're looking for, what questions you may have too. So again, I'm going to post this. I thank you all for participating. And this video will be posted in Mind, Body, Beautiful. And I also want to thank you for being a part of that group. It's an amazing group. You guys are all amazing and beautiful. And I'm thankful for each and every one of you. So keep following up in there. Talk to everybody that's in there. Make comments on people's posts. Also, let me know what you want to hear more of. And I'll be doing webinars more often for you guys too. So, all right. I want you to have a good night. And I look forward to hearing from you. Bye now. Bye, guys.
Bye.